But which app do you really trust now? SingPass.
SingPass. I mean, in some ways, maybe SingPass you would trust more. I would trust more. You know, I don't bat an eyelid when I open it, and it just allows me to access my
scan face,
pay CPF, NRIC, everything.
That's true. Actually,
I don't
to their
think
credit,
about it. To their credit, I trust it a lot more. You've heard us talk about our other podcast, Tell You First, where Harish and I dive into fascinating topics in history, pop culture, and science that you never knew you needed to know, all with a touch of comedy. Now, we're coming to the end of the season pretty soon, and we've talked about some pretty wild topics. Here's a snippet from a recent episode, Swiftonomics in Singapore. Because, speaking of that, the other countries have also felt the effect of Taylor Swift's, the force of Taylor Swiftonomics, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think in the US, some of the interesting numbers are like one study showed that the average spend for a Swiftie attending the Eras Tour is $1,327. That means that's what they spend in the, to attend the concert, buy merch and all.
And then stay in the hotel or whatever, right? Because a country bigger than Singapore is maybe where they live is very far away from the stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Did you buy any merch?
I did not, because the merch queue is insane. Is like if I would have joined the merch queue, I think I would have missed part of the concert.
Oh, that's why you need multiple. Oh, but you had 2 tickets, so you could have like one day for merch, one day for concert.
Another regret.
I mean,
and the merch is not cheap, actually.
Correct. And I think the crowds you're talking about, they also found that generally the economic impact of a Taylor Swift concert is equivalent to hosting a Super Bowl in your city. So if you liked that, check out Tell You First on the Me Listen app, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. Now, on to the podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How's the week?
The hot weather is coming back already, lah. You can feel it, right?
Actually, haven't reached a point where I'm like, oh shit, it's hot again. For you, have
it's not cool as before, lah.
Oh yeah.
It's not 25-degree weather. And like
wasn't 20? It's not 21-degree weather.
Correct. Yeah, being out and about, you definitely start to feel the heat again. So I mean, turns out that was a really unprecedented spell, right? The amount of rain that fell. During that period of 3 to 4 days, right? But yeah,
they broke some records also, right?
Yeah, I think like more rainfall in those 3 days than the whole of last January or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, and if you think about it, the streams of water, right, are not just being limited to the sky. Because you know what happened this past week, right?
What?
Not 1, not 2, but 3 cases of people peeing in MRT trains.
Streams of water. I see.
Yeah. A third case today. Yeah, so far, Outram kena hit, Tanah Merah. I can't remember the third one.
But isn't it a case of this has happened time immemorial, right? People peeing in train stations. I thought that's like a very standard thing.
Is it?
It's just that now there's social media and people capture it and all.
You think it's been happening for ages?
I think so. I mean, we go back to the days of like people taking a shit at Holland V and stuff like that. It happens, right?
Okay, it happens, but okay, maybe I think it was only one guy who peed on a handrail, right? That one, okay, honestly, you know what I thought when I saw this third case today? Remember there was that case that we also covered of people slashing tires of SUVs?
Yeah.
Then I was thinking, don't tell me this is another movement that is taking issue with like fossil fueled trains.
Yeah.
Or like trains fueled by electricity generated by fossil fuels, and the thing is to pee on handrails. But it's not.
Yeah.
It was just that one dude who peed on a handrail.
Correct. Yeah, but kind of antisocial behavior, yes. But does it point to the problem, especially these few days when it's raining a lot and you can't walk out as easily as before, right? Does it point to our public toilets being inaccessible or not enough or whatever? You think it's a bigger issue at play?
I don't think it. You can blame the public toilets in this case. Yes, they might be dirty.
Yeah,
they might be dirty, but they're still there. Right? And peeing on a handrail, come on.
Yeah, that's overdoing it.
I mean, I thought you were going to say the cold weather, it makes it cold.
It does, it does also.
Yeah, and maybe your urgency to pee a bit more. But the first guy who got charged and fined, I think he admitted he went for a drinking session and he couldn't find a place to pee and he peed on a handrail.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. Inexcusable.
Yeah, unless he thought like the handrail has a self-cleaning mechanism. Like, since
that
COVID, there's some of these handrails have self-cleaning mechanisms. So he thought it'd be cleaner for him to pee on the handrail.
That's true. He was like, if I pee on the floor, who's going to clean it?
Yeah.
Right? This one cleans it.
Some poor auntie versus the machine cleaning my pee, right?
Okay, so I can totally imagine in a drunken state, right?
Yeah.
That actually making sense to you.
Yeah.
But I think we're giving him too much credit.
Correct. But, the nationality of the people who peed also, has that been a point of discussion?
The handrail, he's a Chinese national.
Okay.
The other two, not sure yet.
So that's your xenophobic nativist side peeking out, Harish.
You ask me, I'm just reporting the facts.
Yeah.
Okay, and as we are going to discuss, what is fact and what is opinion are two very different things.
Yeah.
Right? So please don't paint that I am spewing misinformation.
Yeah.
It's just information.
But that's one thing about Singapore, right? We so far we've been quite spared of the general smell of pee that pervades a lot of big urban jungles, urban cities. Like if you look at New York City or even Paris for that matter, a lot of places you walk in the subway and all, it's just pee smells everywhere, right? Rats and everything. So in Singapore, generally, our subway services are quite clean. But now, you'd be a bit more careful about where you put your hands, especially on handrails.
And I mean, last time when I was younger and all at the station, I would just sit on the floor.
Yeah.
At the ends, I was going and no thought at all, just sit on the floor. Now I think you want to sit on the floor, you want to put handrail.
Yeah.
Everything must think twice already.
Correct. Now, especially when I became a dog owner, then I started to look at corners and lampposts a lot more suspiciously. Like last time, you just lean against them or squat and lean against them, but now I'm like, oh, maybe not.
You just think like, oh, there's a lamppost there.
Yeah.
Of course, I would lean against it. I would squat and lean against it because it's sturdy.
Yeah.
But I think once you spend enough time just observing dogs and all, right, there's no lamppost untouched.
I'm not blaming dogs, right? But sometimes also it's just like, they're just natural targets for these animals. And the owners, pee is one thing, but some owners don't even pick up the dog poop, which I find them annoying, right? It brings a bad name to all dog owners.
Yeah.
And it still happens. It doesn't matter if you live in a very nice area or not so nice area. There are people who walk their dogs and don't pick up the poop. And that makes it, like, even when I step on grass now, I'm also a bit more careful.
But do you think those are serial dog poop non-pickers?
Yeah. I think
Cereal,
yeah.
So it's not just a one-off, like you just caught up in the moment, oh shit, my dog pooped.
No, you can't. It's not possible. You will know when your dog is pooping.
Because it stops, right?
It stops. Time stops. Everything stops. Sometimes you can't even have eye contact with the dog while it's pooping and things like that. So you would know the dog is pooping. And as a responsible dog owner, the least you should do is, use a leaf or something to pick it up. I think there's an abundance of leaves in Singapore, right? So, and throw it in the bin. So those who really don't pick it up, they really just don't give a shit. And as a fellow dog owner, I want to try to call them out if they do that, or at least offer them a bag. It's very bad behavior.
And the other extreme, I see some dog owners, like when the dog pees on the lamppost, they actually bring a bottle of water and spray. More often than not, it's because their dog is bigger than me. It's a huge ass dog. And it's a whole gush of water. So then they just pour it down.
I do that if the dog does it on a wall or something.
Okay.
Outside in the outdoors, I feel like okay,
free or I guess.
But that's why all these things about etiquette, all that, takes time to establish a proper etiquette for everyone to follow.
So what if you see a guy pee in the corner of the MRT, but then take water and
That's an interesting question.
Or he poops, but then he picks it up.
That's an interesting question. Because there was already a crime has already happened, even though he tries to clean up, right? So even if you see someone murder someone else just because they clean up the crime scene or what?
That's true,
it doesn't mean that you don't call the police, right?
He's a conscientious murderer. Conscientious murderer. But yeah, man. Got some interesting things to talk today. About. I mean, it might actually impact stories like this from being shared in future.
Stories like this, meaning what?
People peeing in public. And speculating what nationality they are and all. But before we jump into that, what's our spiel, Terrence?
If you're new to the podcast, please like, share, follow, subscribe to get all the goodness. We've been getting a lot of interesting comments from people about when they started listening to the podcast. Super illuminating. Keep doing that. And if you want to work with us as well, what do we do? What do you do?
Check out ministryoffunny.com, our website, and leave us a message there. And you can also just directly email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man.
Let's jump into this meta topic.
Meta topic. So, I mean, the article that we are going to be talking about is just one of many in a series of developments. But the latest piece of news, or the more recent piece of news, is that Meta, the huge-ass company that Mark Zuckerberg is the CEO of, made some announcements last week about scrapping their fact-checking programs, which has been blasted by Joe Biden, the current US president, as being shameful. Really shameful.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, the context of this is that the Zuckerberg, last Tuesday, he posted a video, like a 6-minute video on his own Facebook page, announcing that Meta will be ditching their third-party fact-checking in the United States, and turning over, the job of, debunking falsehoods to its own users in a model known as community notes, which has been popularized by X.
Yeah.
So I think you probably saw the video also when it first came out.
Yeah,
there's been a lot of talk since then, but maybe just go back to when that video first came out. Like what went through your mind watching Zuckerberg?
I think we've said it on. I've said it on podcast before. Fuck the Zuck,
fuck
basically.
The Zuck.
There's a lot of things he does that I think are very, very of questionable morals, right? And then someone like him in such a big position of, influence and power and all that, I felt like immediately that he was obviously pandering to Donald Trump as the president-elect, right? And trying to, get regulators off his back for various things. So that was my initial thought, my very initial thought.
But why you say obviously pandering to Donald Trump?
Because I think, if you remember, and this was a fact that only came up to me when I was reading up more about this. 4 years ago, when Trump, when the whole insurrection at
Capitol riots,
the Capitol riots and all that, right? Remember after that, Meta actually kicked Trump off their platforms,
Yeah.
So that was the kind of relationship they had with the outgoing president. And I think in the ensuing years, Trump has been very critical of Meta and Zuckerberg, and even, sort of like alluded to taking revenge on him, putting him in prison and everything, if he ever gets back to power, which he is coming back to power now. And then suddenly you see all these moves by Zuckerberg to almost like seems to be pandering towards the Trump supporter base. Plus, there's a lot of things going on with TikTok, possibly getting actually getting banned, right, in the middle of days, where Facebook probably will be a very big beneficiary of that decision as well, right? So it seems like Zuckerberg is putting all these things in place to really, cement Facebook's position in under the Trump administration. And that's my most immediate thought. But since then, I've also done a bit more reading and listening to Zuckerberg and all that.
Because he appeared on Joe Rogan recently.
Yeah.
Right.
And it evolved a little bit. But what was your first impression?
I mean, the first impression was that, okay, so you can almost see the posse of Trump coming together. Because I think Zuckerberg and Elon Musk don't strike me as like the best of friends.
Yeah.
They are both billionaires, very powerful, but I've always felt like they are competing with each other.
Yeah.
But for him to so openly say, community notes similar to X.
Yeah.
Since when would these social platforms actually give acknowledgement to another platform that they are copying from?
Yeah.
Did he ever give reference to TikTok when he did Reels? Did he ever give reference to Snapchat when he did Stories? No. But suddenly now he's like openly talking about another platform and drawing inspiration from them and implementing. And even Elon Musk tweeted about his announcement, this is cool. So I'm like, oh shit. So he's kind of aligning himself with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is aligned with Donald Trump. I think in December, his most recent board member addition is Dana White, founder of the UFC, who is part of Trump's posse.
Yeah.
And it feels like, oh shit. I think the scary thing here is that, you turn this fact-checking thing off, you leave it to community notes. But he even said in the video that previously they kind of reduced the amount of political content shown to people because it made them depressed.
Yeah.
And then now they're going to reverse it and show content that people want.
Yeah.
Then in my mind, I'm like, isn't it just blatantly saying that you basically control like we all know they control a lot, but like the algorithm, everything we are fed to believe is that it serves you the best content for you and this whole thing. But now it feels like a switch.
Yeah.
That, oh, you don't want to see political content? Okay, we give you less. Oh, now you want? We give you more. And it just feels like, oh shit, that is the scary thing.
Yeah.
That as much as they turn off this feature there, this feature here, they control what we consume.
Yeah, correct.
And that is the scariest shit part. Because it's not just Facebook, there's also Instagram and WhatsApp. I use WhatsApp a lot.
Yeah.
Instagram, we use it for our work. So yeah, it's damn scary.
Yeah, and I think there's a movement, or at least like I think Department of Justice is trying to break up Facebook a bit, as in to get them to divest.
Meta.
Meta. Get them to sell off Instagram and maybe even WhatsApp, right? Saying that they're almost like a monopoly already. So there's actually a lot at stake for Meta in terms of how the regulatory oversight, as well as the EU, the European Union, actually fining Meta a lot of money for monopolistic practices. Then, I mean, even if you listen to Joe Rogan podcast, he very explicitly says that he thinks, a lot of these things, he doesn't think that what the EU is doing is right. And he thinks that President Trump is going to, at the end of the day, wants America to win. So in some way, I think he's calling for Trump to help fight these battles on his behalf as well. Whether it's applying pressure on the EU and everything. So there's a lot more at stake to this whole thing than just free speech, which is how he couches the entire thing when he goes on Joe Rogan. He went on Joe Rogan and he basically defended the decision as
free speech.
About free speech. He went into, the probability that something posted would be, I think he said like 1 in 10 would be a mistake, with a certain statistical certainty, right? And he feels that that's still too much, too overbearing and too...
with their current fact-checking program.
Yeah, with the current fact-checking program, too draconian and he compared it to like 1984, the novel. So yeah, there's a lot of philosophical justifications that Zuckerberg gives for it. But at the end of the day, there's a lot at stake for Meta as a company for him to have made this decision, right? Because it's not just this decision that seems to align with the MAGA movement as well. There's also they also ending DEI, diversity, equity, quality and inclusion programs in Meta. So including things like, I think the anecdote was that tampons will no longer be available in the men's bathroom, right? So yeah, there's a lot that they are doing to move, definitely a shift away from more progressive policies, right?
And even the latest announcement today that they're going to fire the bottom 5% of performers.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, what does that sound like? Pursuing greater efficiency.
Yeah.
What is the latest department in the US government? The Department of Governmental Efficiency.
Yeah.
Led by Elon Musk.
Yes.
So then it feels like, oh shit, are they like sharing life hacks or something like, hey bro, you just got to cut off the fat, no?
Correct.
I think I'll cut off the fat. Which, I mean, you want to reduce the top performers, that's all well and good. But it just feels like, wow, there's a sudden about turn. And also because he only announced it last Tuesday, and then now he's all about free speech. As opposed to, doing it in like maybe a bit more, less center of attention and doing it for a while so that when you say it, there's actually some weight to it that you have changed.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, I also did realize that the third-party fact-checking program in Meta that they implemented in 2020-ish is actually quite substantial, no? And they work with the International Fact-Checking Network, which I never knew existed.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No, but I know it. I know, generally, they're quite trusted, these fact checkers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seems like it. They have like a code of principles. And I mean, of course, now you almost don't know who to trust, right? But I mean, they work with Facebook in like 90 different countries.
Yeah.
60 languages globally. And to be clear, he's ending the fact checking in the US only.
Yeah.
But I think, like with many things, when they roll it out in the US, chances are they might roll it out abroad.
Or even not even roll it out, but basically deprioritize like fact checking across the whole of Facebook, right?
Yeah. And I mean, in some way also, if you look at it, when you have these third party IFCN, even though yes, they're third party, it is your decision to work with this organization. If something fucks up, you take the rap. By making it sound like, oh, it's a community notes thing, it's almost kind of pushing the responsibility onto the users, taking the Wikipedia approach. Which also feels like, wait. Then is Facebook going to be like, okay, we don't do the full moderation. It is up to you users.
So I'm not a user of X, but do you know generally how community notes work? Do they work like Reddit where people just upvote and downvote?
No, so I mean, I use X like almost every day just to see the news, and I've seen the community notes. And the backstory of the community notes, apparently it was developed internally by the head of trust and security in 2021 by Yoel Roth. But it was only rolled out platform-wide in 2023.
Okay.
And that was after Elon Musk acquired Twitter in 2022. And I do recall anecdotally that when he announced that he's going to do this community notes thing, it wasn't the most positive response. I think people were just skeptical of him. But I've actually seen it enough times that I think it does a good job. But the issue with how it works, right? So basically, whenever there is any post that some people feel that this might be incorrect, they can write a note, and you have to opt in to be a user who can submit notes.
Okay.
And then people the other users can vote on it, and you can have many different perspectives about a certain post. But after a period of time, beyond a certain threshold, the most upvoted one would be the note that is attached. So in some way, it's not a free-for-all, but it allows a crowdsourced range of opinions, after which people can vote.
So it is very much like upvoting, downvoting on Reddit, right?
Yeah,
where
correct.
The best comments are usually upvoted and the worst ones are downvoted.
Oh, yeah, in some way. So instead of a comment, it is a note. And people, I assume, vote based on how much this note clarifies. So an example, I think there's one post in this article writing about it. Someone posted, whales are not actually mammals. If humans, land mammals, can't drink seawater, just try it. How can supposed sea mammals like whales stay hydrated? So then readers added context. Whales are indeed mammals. Marine mammals are able to stay hydrated, blah, blah, blah. So that was written by someone, and it was upvoted, and beyond a certain point, it passed the threshold and it becomes a community note attached to this. So I think based on research, they are actually quite effective. So there was a study of COVID-related notes in 2022, 2023, and it was 97% accurate. So evidence does show that it works, but the problem is it's too slow. So there was a report on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Some notes took up to 70 hours for a note to pass the threshold.
I see.
So for certain things that that a bit more evergreen, it might be good. But in the 3 days leading up to the presidential election, only 6% of the roughly 15,000 notes reach helpful status, which is where it passes the threshold.
Got it.
So I think generally when you look at people commenting about it, they say it should supplement a more structural approach to misinformation. But to use it solely, that's why if you go on X now, anything, the LA Files, you go and read LA Files, the perspectives are so different from mainstream media, man. And conspiracy theories are abundant there. So in some way, people are saying it is the more truthful voice. There's more free speech, but it's a wild west, man. So for Facebook to just go that way, it seems like, does that make sense?
And he just basically dismissed them as these fact checkers as too politically biased, right? Which I mean, at the end of the day, they are a company that's based in California, which is one of the most liberal states. If you're really worried about political bias, then you really shouldn't be having a company based out of California and all that, right?
But that's why they're moving their moderation department or something to Texas.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the point that people are saying that, you move the moderation there, but everyone works there in this liberal state. The company is in a liberal state, right?
Your base is in Cupertino or something.
In Palo Alto, So it's almost doesn't make sense that he claims that these fact checkers are too politically biased. If anyone, you just turn around and say Facebook is just too politically biased, right? Being where it is. But actually, the funny thing is that people are also pointing out that this is not unexpected of Zuckerberg. This is basically Zuckerberg finally taking off the mask and revealing who he really is, right? Because we've all known Zuckerberg from, the social network, the guy who started an app to compare how hot his
hot or not, right?
Hot, is it hot or face? Or I thought it was like something smash or what?
No, that smash thing came years later lah.
Okay.
Smash or pass.
Yeah. Maybe hot or not. Yeah. So yeah, this is a guy who was basically quite people's emotions or people's feelings were secondary to what he thought was cool or interesting or fun, right, for him. And that's who he was when he was 19. Granted, he would have time to grow and everything. But that's why I thought it was quite illuminating to listen to the Joe Rogan podcast that he did. Because actually he addresses that a lot. He talks a lot about the process of growing into his role as the CEO and how for many years he was sort of like he would be put on TV for a TV interview and he would bomb because his personality is just not suited for TV sound bites and all that, and then he get attacked and everything. And I think after a while he just felt that that was so not him, and he talks a lot about how podcasting, at the end of the day, is a much better medium for him compared to like TV interviews and things like that. But you really get insight into this person. He became so big and so powerful at a point when he was not even like, I wouldn't say like fully mature as an adult yet. Yeah. So you think about it, actually, there's been this whole period of quite explosive growth of Facebook, and then Facebook at one point was seen as heralding the Arab Spring and all these, revolutions, liberal revolutions around the world. Then after the next thing you know, that it's like fake news and it's like Russian interference in the elections and all. So it became from like, at one point people were saying Mark Zuckerberg could even run for president, right? Then now he's like super villain Mark Zuckerberg, the lizard, right, and everything. And he's kind of now this Trump coming to power has kind of given him the excuse to just let go of all pretense that he gives a shit, and he can just do whatever the hell he wants. And it's quite interesting because on the Joe Rogan podcast, they talk a lot about him taking up mixed martial arts. They talk about him like enjoying hunting and like things
all
like
the
that. All the stereotypical right wing kind of things. And Joe Rogan eggs him on. Joe Rogan's like, oh no, yeah, let me hook you up with someone to teach you archery and everything. So you really get a sense that, wow, this guy is different from the guy that we all thought we knew from the social network and everything like back then. Not that any one of us really knows Zuckerberg, but back then he was seen as like the nerd, who has all these esoteric interests and all these
wears
things.
the same shirt every day.
Wears the same shirt every day, that nonsense. And then now he's like studying Roman emperors. He's designing his own clothing lines, wearing necklaces.
Jacked.
Because he talks about how even training MMA, his neck is now like thicker because like having a very thick neck is important for boxing and all that. So literally physical changes they are seeing around him, and he, like I think you mentioned to me, he had a very severe knee injury, right, that he had to get surgery from. I don't know whether there was testosterone that he had to get.
That's a theory on X.
Yeah. So he's really just growing to this role, and he literally even says that he feels that the corporate world needs more masculine energy.
Oh, he says that.
He says that.
I only listened to highlights. I didn't listen to the...
He literally said that, the corporate world needs more masculine energy. He said, like, we've veered too far away. I mean, it's obviously, he has 3 daughters and everything. He thinks women succeeding in the workforce is important, but he feels the corporate world has been neutered.
Tampons in the male toilet.
Exactly. So they got rid of tampons in the male toilet, and he's really going for this masculine energy, not toxic masculinity. He says it's not toxic, but it's like you need some of the competitiveness, like ruthlessness in the corporate world. So this is him like unfiltered already, basically. We are getting what Zuckerberg has always wanted to be, but he was always like held down by, I don't know, Sheryl Sandberg or corporate PR at Meta and everything. But now he's just who he is already.
No, but maybe this is who he has become rather than who he wanted to be. Because that's the scary thing, right? Like, there's this whole posse of bros, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you imagine the stereotypical American jock, right? And if you were to look it up in a dictionary, it'll be people like Joe Rogan, Dana White, now the Jack Zuckerberg, the Jack Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. And it's just like, you're starting to see, like, these are all different sides of the same coin, no?
Yeah.
Which is, you can imagine the US with all these powerful people coming together and being more alike than they are diverse. There's some benefit to, getting momentum. maybe America might win, but it'll be shit for the rest of the world. And for the people who don't believe with their philosophy, it'll be shit for them in the US.
Yeah. I think that's what's scary about this Trump administration, right?
Yeah.
I think we talked about, people don't want the political language and to become violent or to become racist and everything. But that's almost secondary to what you're seeing. Now you're seeing Zuckerberg, this turn of Zuckerberg, this very public turn of Meta and Zuckerberg I think is a direct result of Trump coming to power. Where basically all the little steps that they took last time to be more inclusive and care more about how people actually feel about things and all that, right? All that's out the window already. They don't care already, It's all like what would please President Trump, so they've donated money to his inauguration and all these things as well.
He met Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, and Trump had some positive things to say about him. So I think Meta is just the first of what you see a lot of like corporate America starting to just
go back to the traditional male, men work, women cook.
You remember all those days when like Trump first came to power, then there'd be all these, how the NBA champions, they would go to the White House to go and meet the president.
Yeah.
Then the Golden State Warriors, I think that year they won, they didn't go at all. But now you see people will go and kiss the ring of Trump and Mar-a-Lago, right?
I think that is the crazy part, because for all you say about Trump, right, at one point it felt like the tech bros, right, were untouchable.
Yeah.
Congress can fucking drill them and ask all these stupid ass questions and they will be unwavering. They still walk out the champions. But Trump somehow is getting them to bend.
Yeah. But what you also don't know what he's promising them.
Yeah,
in exchange, like Elon Musk donated a lot of money to Trump, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
So you don't know what Meta or Amazon is also planning to do, right? And this talk of like, ensuring that America wins, also means the rest of the world will be collateral damage, right? But that's it, right? We are also like a number of years removed from quite a seminal moment in Singapore's history when POFMA was introduced. Right? I remember before POFMA was introduced, we had I think there was I don't know what you call a parliamentary sitting or what, where Shanmugam had the Facebook person, and he grilled him about Meta's how was Meta handling like fake news and everything, right? And at that point of time, if I recall correctly, you and our sentiment was like, we need to hold these social media companies more accountable for everything. But in all the years since then, you've also seen how POFMA has played out in the public sphere and everything. Right? And there are also a lot of critics of POFMA and how it's very overbearing and everything. But what are your thoughts, when you think about Facebook basically saying like, we don't want to have to care about fact checking anymore, and then when you hear about POFMA and allegations of people saying that, it's being misused and things like that, where are you on that? What's the balance between those two?
I mean, I think like just in this case, comparing the two, also there's one big difference, right? The IF, International Fact Checking, the IFCN, is meant to be a third party, like impartial,
unencumbered by government.
Whereas POFMA, it is an arm of the government. So I think that itself feels like is very different. And I still stand by what like my initial sentiments were about POFMA, is that I mean, sometimes yes, it does do good when there's clear misinformation. But I still think it's very heavy-handed. Very heavy-handed. Whereas the IFCN, I guess that was never part of the consideration for the Singapore government to work with this third party, because there will always be this fear, right, that if it's a third party from I don't know where it's based, there's going to be political influence there. How can you guarantee the people working there are not biased? Why not keep it internal? So I think two different things. Two different things. But I mean, in the sense that I thought where you were getting at is that at one point it felt like Facebook was the victim. At that point in time, when they were being grilled and all that. I don't know whether that was around the time of the Cambridge Analytica scandal.
It was, yeah. Exactly
it was, right?
Exactly about that,
So I guess the one takeaway is that Facebook and Meta can just fuck around and flip-flop like to no end. And all these apps that we're using, that we're enjoying, I think there's a window where we can enjoy it now, but at some point it might come back and bite us in the ass. Same with ChatGPT, same with all these tech platforms. I think now, while it's working for you, great, but just know that at some point it can reverse and just come and fuck you up.
Yeah.
Fuck things up.
I think the default mode that we have to enter whenever we start using a new app or something or new service, you just have to assume that they don't have your interest at heart.
Yeah, they don't.
They might even be evil, right? They don't have your interest at heart. They might even be evil. And from there, then only when they give, they do something worthy of your trust, then you give it to them.
But which app do you really trust now? SingPass.
SingPass. I mean, in some ways, maybe SingPass you would trust more. I would trust more. I don't bet an eyelid when I open it, and it just allows me to access my
scan face, scan face,
pay CPF, NRIC, everything.
That's true. Actually,
That's true. I don't
to their
think
credit,
about it. To their credit, I trust it a lot more.
Yeah.
But generally, there's none of these tech company products I use anymore that I feel positive about them. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, to some extent, maybe Reddit. I still feel that there's a level of positivity in Reddit that I don't see in any other social media apps. Like I use Instagram for a couple of minutes and I feel like shit already. I always catch myself feeling like shit after a while. Same for Facebook. Same for TikTok. I mean, and all these things are right. And it's quite funny. Even in the interview with Joe Rogan. Like Joe Rogan, he very famously always says like, don't read the comments and all that, right? But imagine saying that to the person who basically runs a social media platform that's all about comments and engagement and keeping on the platform as long as possible. So there was this point where Joe Rogan was basically like saying, oh yeah, you shouldn't read those comments. You're feeding to someone's depression and everything. Then Zuckerberg's like,
But did Joe Rogan push back at any point? Because I saw some reports that he didn't. There was only one point where he kind of hinted that Zuckerberg is a liar.
That he didn't really believe him.
Yeah, he said at one point, I don't believe you, and now you're supposed to be one of the good guys. And Zuckerberg just like smiled only, right?
Yeah. I don't think he was even referencing Zuckerberg directly. But he was just asking a rhetorical question about, I think, something about like tech people.
Tech bros.
So there was all these moments where Joe Rogan's basically saying that social media is poisonous, and all these things. And then you can hear Zuckerberg like, I think you can watch also, like he has to think very carefully about what he's saying. He has to pull in his daughters and how he brings up his kids as examples, all these. So, and that's the beauty of, I still feel like, I don't listen to Joe Rogan a lot these days, but it was like listening to this and I realized, this is why we listen to podcasts, right? To really see these influential key decision makers, how they handle questions and how they don't say certain things also are very important. And so this was an example where I feel like we really saw into the mind of Zuck a bit, and it's quite clear to me that this is to me, this is the real Zuckerberg all along. He's not the Zuckerberg that, apologized to parents in a Congress hearing. And said, that guy it was just a mask, it was a PR thing. This is the real Zuckerberg that has been waiting to be unleashed.
I guess that's what is so surprising, that he just flip-flops so fast. But I mean, you look at it, if he gets in bed with Trump, it's all the more better for him. Like, does he really care about what two people in Singapore think who are doing a podcast about him? He's like, no, fuck you all. If I align with Trump, Meta will benefit.
Yeah. And you see, because if TikTok gets banned, Meta is a huge benefactor of that, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense for him to keep pushing behind the scenes for the US to enforce that ban.
Yeah.
And for Meta to not get in trouble with the regulatory authorities. For Trump to even push back on the EU on some of the fines that they're giving to the tech companies and all. The rest of the world, we are going to suffer the effects of that. So for all those people who, very happily supporting Trump from Singapore, you're starting to see you'll start to see it.
It's like the male who thinks he's alpha, now he's like going to act on it. He's going to be fuck everyone else. I got my boys, and they're like one big jacked gang. Trump is not jacked, but he's huge, right?
He's
6 foot
tall.
seven.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's got the money, and he's got the money to throw his weight around.
But I mean, physically imposing also.
He's tall, tall.
Then you got Dana White. Elon Musk also looks damn tall. Then because it's just damn scary, It's just damn scary that all these powerful people are kind of consolidating. It's nuts,
So how do you feel? Because the longest time you had all these man crushes on a lot of these tech bros.
Okay, so Elon Musk, yes. Elon Musk, yes. But Zuckerberg never. Jeff Bezos also never. Also Elon Musk, like, and even then, I wouldn't say the man crush was as much as, say, someone like Larry David or Casey Neistat.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like, wow, this guy is like fucking insane. So that has lessened a lot. But yeah, don't just anyhow give misinformation that I had a man crush on Zuckerberg.
But you were doing that whole thing that he used to do, which was wear the same clothes every day.
I still do that now. Like, I have a very, very clear rotation of like what I wear. Because years ago I got one piece of advice which was very good from someone we both know, that okay, if you don't want to think of design everything different, just go with solid colors.
Yeah.
Then you just rotate and it doesn't look like you're wearing the same thing every day.
Correct.
Even though I might be lah.
Yeah.
Which I am due for a wardrobe refresh.
You should.
To be honest,
Because your hair now is like, it's not as outstanding as it was like a few months ago, like, right?
That's right.
You look like Sec 2 RI boy lah. Very quiet Sec 2 RI boy.
Oh my god, that is so true. I won't be surprised if my fucking hair is the same as it was in Sec 2.
Correct. But that all said, I would still, go and listen to the podcast with Joe Rogan and Zuckerberg. Because at some points I felt like, oh, this guy is, he feels like a normal fun dude to hang out with. I mean, obviously he's a billionaire and he's got this esoteric interest. But a lot of things he says about like, finding, exercising a lot more now, and finding mixed martial arts in his life later and realizing certain things as a parent, all that actually can relate lah.
Quite human, because you also found MMA in later part of your life.
Not say MMA lah, but I think like now, like trying to understanding your mortality and exercising a bit more and everything. Then he says certain things that quite relatable.
So now you got man crush on Zuckerberg.
Not say man crush lah. I still think that at the end of the day, like he like what you said, he flip flops too much.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to, even as you try to imagine, like we have friends who are very, successful and all these things are right. But sometimes morally, you feel like they flip flop a lot in the wind, or they only
they shoot lah.
The shoot?
Shrewd.
Oh yeah. Or they hang out with people who are useful to them lah. And then if you're not very useful to them, you don't hear from them for a long time lah, right? Yeah. So we all know people like that, and I feel like Zuckerberg is.
But there's all these people got like car, condo, country club membership,
correct,
got houses in other countries.
Correct.
You don't flip flop for fuck.
That's true lah. Yeah.
But we just sit in a room and talk about other people.
Correct, we do, yeah. I mean, what's your argument about that? What's your argument for that?
I mean, nothing lah. Just
no. At the end of the day, I feel like they all have their own demons also, right? Regardless of how successful you are, So it's up to each individual what's important for them.
Yeah. Not to say that we also don't have our own demons.
We're
not coming from some morally superior high place. But we try to call each other out if there's bullshit.
You try to
Try.
Yeah, correct.
But I mean, it's scary. Like, when is Trump going to take office?
20th of Jan.
So next Monday?
Yeah, pretty much. 5 days from our recording time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it will be. Already, there are a lot of buzz about who's performing as inauguration. I think Carrie Underwood has been brought up as a name that's performing as inauguration. And there are a lot of people, so there's a bit of a backlash against her. But at the same time, probably a lot more supporters as well.
Oh my God. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. So next week, this time, it'll be fucking President Trump, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what Biden's going to do.
Correct, yeah.
But yeah, man.
But the interesting thing about that is, like, I think a lot of late night talk show hosts, I saw Bill Maher, right? Basically
Bill
saying,
Burr?
Maher.
Oh, Bill Maher.
Yeah. Basically saying that he's not gonna let Trump have real estate in his mind. He's just gonna treat it like
news,
and if he does something stupid, he'll cover it. But he's not gonna be like, it's doom and gloom. Trump is the worst president ever and all that already. Because I think the liberal media, they're a bit disillusioned already with the whole thing. That they know that nothing that they say can really work against Trump or get him unelected, right? I mean, even being convicted as a felon doesn't do shit. So they're like, you know what? We're just going to get through these 4 years and try to survive.
I mean, he can't go another term, right? Max 2 terms.
Yeah, max 2 terms. But I mean, he is pushing the politics of the country in a certain direction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Meta. Look at Meta now.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. But
yeah.
But speaking of censorship and everything, there are certain, in the corporate world in Singapore, there are certain things that apparently are pissing a lot of Singaporeans off, and they probably wish that they see or hear less of, right? And this comes from a quite interesting survey that came out recently. And what is this survey about?
It is a survey about corporate jargon, and it was done by Preply, which is
it Preply or Preply? I know. Actually, that was something that came out. I was like, how do you pronounce this? Preply?
That's true. It's Preply.
I think it's Preply. Right?
Yeah, because I was like, what the fuck name is that? Preply? I'm like, what? Like positive replies or something? No, but it's about powering people's progress. We deliver the best human learning experience by empowering our learners and tutors to succeed.
Preply.
So yeah, Preply. What a horrible name, no?
Yeah, it's because we were just talking about words and jargon. This was like Preply.
Preply, right from the start already, like Preply.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's a stupid ass name.
Yeah.
So they're huge, I guess, now. And I'm not so sure what they do, but it's all about learning and
I think like online tuition kind of things.
Yeah, online tuition. Oh yeah, online tuition. Teach English online, teach French online and stuff like Preply. Okay, so they did a research exploring corporate jargon in Singapore. And they surveyed 1,000 Singapore residents who are currently working or who have worked in the country about the most frequently used corporate jargon and the most loved and hated terms at the office.
Yeah.
Looked at how job seekers feel about corporate slang and job listings, which Gen Z buzzwords employees find the hardest to understand. So yeah, apparently, I mean, there's a list lah. So like double confirm is the most commonly used corporate jargon buzzword. The most annoying is Saikang Warrior, followed by Kena Erot, and then Wayang.
Yeah.
Over 25% think that using jargon in job listings make a company seem trendy and innovative. Thick skin and wear many hats are the most annoying buzzwords in job listings. And 41% of Singaporeans, so the 1,000 people, 41% don't know what sus mean, and only 20% understand what ick means.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to say that I think both of us understand sus and ick.
I think so, yeah.
Right.
I do.
But I mean, when you saw this list, okay, so the most used corporate jargon from 1 to 10 is double confirm, on the same page, chop, win-win situation, think outside the box, panggang, revert, key takeaways, eye power, OT. So when you saw this list, were you surprised? Or like, what ran through your mind?
Actually, there's a lot of debate online about, are these really even used in the office?
Exactly.
Right. Because I don't think I've ever encountered people using double confirm in an email or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Or even chop for that matter. So it's more like daily spoken jargon between people. And then that to me is like, then it's no longer corporate jargon really. Right? It's just how people communicate with each other in office. So I was a bit confused as to what they meant by corporate jargon. But I did ask around a little bit, a couple of people, whether they use some of these terms in office, and they said the same. They won't use some of these terms in email, but yeah, they will use like pangkang a lot,
but
and things like that.
Apparently, part of the survey also was asking people where do they encounter and where do they use corporate buzzwords the most. So in person, 52% of the respondents.
Yeah.
But in emails, 40% of them said they would use this corporate jargon.
Yeah.
Who the fuck was it double confirm in the email or OT? Revert, okay, revert I can.
Revert. In revert is usually used grammatically wrongly. Right?
Yeah. On the same page.
Yeah.
That one also I can imagine. Key takeaways, that one I can imagine. But can you imagine eye power? Like what the hell you going to, who you going to send the email? And this is an internal thing.
Yeah. And when you say the word eye power, usually you're bitching about somebody, right?
Yeah.
Same for certain other terms as well. That you wouldn't use it face to face with somebody. Hey, you don't go in eye power. Yeah. Don't just eye power this thing. You go. You don't say that, right?
Yeah.
Usually eye power is meant to reference a third party who's not part of the conversation. Right?
Yeah. But apparently, 36% of the respondents use this jargon on phone calls with clients. maybe in their mind, like if you ask me what kind of corporate jargon is used in emails or phone calls, I think there's a whole other list that I can totally imagine.
Yeah.
And some things that come to mind is like, let's circle back.
Yeah, let's touch base.
Touch base, take a step back.
High level view.
Yeah, what are the next steps?
Yeah.
And those sort of things, I'm like, okay. So maybe these two questions are kind of disjointed because there are these top 10 corporate jargon that might be used the most common because more people talk like that. But in terms of email, if the question was, what is the most annoying jargon you see in emails, the top 10 list might be different.
Yeah. So I thought that was actually quite instructive. The most annoying corporate buzzwords and the least annoying corporate buzzwords list, right? And it basically is 2 columns, right? Most annoying and least annoying. The most annoying, funnily enough, the top, they're basically almost all except for maybe 1 or 2. They're all Singlish. All Singlish.
Why don't you go through the list, Terrence?
Yeah. So number 1, Saikang Warrior. Number 2, Kena Arrowed. Number 3, Wayang. Number 4, Xiao On. Number 5, Spoil Market. I'll even dissect it further by saying that these top 5 are from the SAF. It's like this top 5, Saikang Warrior, Kena Arrowed, Wayang, Xiao On, Spoil Market, they're all terms that I learned in the army. And they are the top 5 most annoying corporate buzzwords.
You cannot imagine someone in DBS, that relationship manager, Xiao On.
Yeah. No, but it's all from army, right? I think those are terms we all learned in army. I don't think I used words like Xiao On or Spoil Market until I went to army. After that, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6 to 10 is like chop chop, catch no ball, low hanging fruit, which is not Singlish, eye power, pangkang. Yeah. So it's like 80% of the words here are Singlish, right? And that seems to be the most annoying in the corporate workplace.
Wait, what's pangkang mean?
You're done with work, basically.
Oh, I thought it was panggang, which is like barbecue in Malay or something.
Oh, I thought you were going to say gangbang or something. Gangbang.
Hey, after work, we go gangbang.
We go gangbang.
Gangbang.
Please, that would be number 1 most misused corporate buzzword.
That would be sexual harassment complaint to...
No more, no such thing as sexual harassment.
If you work at Meta,
everybody
will go for gangbang.
Gangbang at 5 p.m.
Oh, pangkang.
Pangkang,
I see.
Yeah. So, but the least annoying, on the other side, the other column, the least annoying corporate buzzwords. Example, win-win situation. Number 4, key takeaways. Number 6, pivot. All these are quite standard corporate terms, right? Whether you're in Singapore or the US or what, I think you would use them, right? So, given that this survey was among Singaporeans, again, the pon sinky behavior came out again. We don't like Singaporeans using Singlish or very Singlish terms in the workplace. Right?
Yeah. Even the buzzword Singaporeans find the most annoying in job listings.
Yeah.
I guess in some way, still more Singlish in the most annoying compared to least annoying.
Yeah.
Thick skin, ninja, guru.
Yeah.
While the least annoying is like hybrid, working, passionate, team player. I would have thought hybrid is really damn annoying, sir.
Why? Hybrid? Like, people want hybrid work.
That's true.
Yeah.
But it feels like annoying in the sense that I can imagine everybody just throwing it in when it's not really hybrid.
Yeah. But remember, these are not the most liked corporate buzzwords. These are least annoying. So they could still be annoying. Yeah.
Oh, then the Gen Z buzzwords, which are used most often.
Yeah.
A lot of single syllable. Bro, sus, vibe, facts, basic, goat, slay, none of the above.
I think that's just an option that they don't know any. So they just say none of the above.
Really? Or is it Gen Z slang?
I don't think none of the above is
exclusively... Is it Gen Z? Tristan, is it Gen Z slang? None of the above?
No, it's not.
Cancel. Period.
Yeah.
Bro. Bro, that one I also use.
Yeah, bro isn't Gen Z. I think that's...
it's just universal.
Sus, that's Gen Z and all these things.
But the most annoying Gen Z buzzword is Delulu.
Menti B. Riz. B. Yeah.
But interesting. This pre-ply. Pre-ply. Pre-ply.
But does it, there was that discussion about the standard of English in Singapore recently.
Yeah.
How does that square with what you're seeing here in terms of like what people find the most annoying. The fact that people are rejecting Singlish in the workplace. Isn't that a good thing, given that we are so worried about how Singaporeans speak English in the workplace?
Actually, that's true. Like the why is Saikang Warrior the most annoying buzzword?
Why?
Yeah, because I would have thought that. I mean, I would think that more and more people are seeing some pride in Singlish. That it's part of our identity.
Yeah.
Saikang Warrior.
No, but that's where the survey also tries to explain it, where maybe the older generation of workers, Gen X and Boomers, they feel that the word Saikang Warrior kind of belittles the effort that even in very mundane day-to-day tasks, it's still an important part of the work, right? And when you just label it as Saikang, Saikang meaning is like bullshit work, right? And that was a term in army where they call you Saikang. Actually, maybe we can explain for people who don't know. In army, when you say someone's a Saikang warrior, what is the context usually?
It's like all the job that no one else wants to do.
Yeah, like filling up jerry cans with water and all that. Right?
Saikang. What does Saikang actually mean?
Shit work,
literally.
Yeah. So
Saikang.
So it's stuff like feeling like, especially when you are not feeling well and you can't be part of an exercise, they will make you like go and do like duties, administrative duties, which is like filling up water bottles, filling up jerry cans, and like carrying stuff to and fro.
Or if you're outfield drilling, making the latrine, digging the hole for the poop.
Yeah. So it's the stuff that no one really wants to do.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, so it's not saying the term itself, it's the meaning about the term. That's why it's annoying.
It's dismissive of like the work that people do. Like, at the end of the day, like literally like the person who cleans your toilet, doing Saikang cleaning a toilet, that's one of the most essential roles in society today, right? So maybe Singapore workers actually are more enlightened than we thought, right? I would say the same for stuff like kena arrow or wayang also, right?
Yeah, and on the flip side, the win-win is the least annoying because it indicates that everybody gets a positive outcome. I thought they were just saying the word itself. Like some words and acronyms really piss the shit out of me.
Like what?
When people say TML on WhatsApp, it's for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, oh yeah. Because it's tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know why. Something about that is like just annoying, or her, instead of he or he, HUR. That I just cannot.
Why cannot?
I just have this image of someone like just drooling and yeah. So those sort of words is less about the meaning. It's just the word itself. You don't have any of those. It's just really like, don't use that word. ETA.
TML is one of them. Yeah, TML is annoying because it makes me have to think about tomorrow. Yeah. And then after that, transcribe it and understand, you mean tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a you say tomorrow.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, it is. That one is annoying.
That's annoying, yeah.
Other annoying ones, I'm sure there are others, but I can't think of them now. ETA is also annoying, but it depends on who it comes from.
If it's from me, it's like annoying.
Very overbearing people, the ETAs are annoying. But sometimes, legitimately, people just ask ETA because they need to. There's a train or whatever they're trying to catch or what.
Yeah. Correct.
The ETA while they're just sitting there, ETA is annoying. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, interesting But I guess this is an example of good marketing by the Preply. So I never knew about this company. It's on like tuition.
No, I think it's a bit like kind of like Duolingo, where you can learn the language on the platform and things like that.
I mean, they're huge ass companies,
Mostly language classes, I see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But
so it's good, it's good, yeah. Like what you said, it creates a lot of buzz.
Yeah. But interesting. All right, man.
Yes.
Cool. So moving on to our penultimate segment, the one Shiok thing, one Shiok comment.
Yeah.
Do you have your one Shiok comment?
Yeah, my one Shiok comment is actually from Reddit. Long-time listener Jungle Jimbo on the latest episode 609. He actually found I think you had your one Shiok thing was about the Panopticon building, right? Actually, apparently, Singapore's prison service in 2019 launched a publication called the Panopticon.
Yeah.
The prison service launched a publication called the Panopticon that was meant to be an internal newsletter about the Singapore prison service. But it also drew a lot of criticism based on that name of Panopticon. Because we're talking about how the panopticon structure of the prisons was very domineering, right? It felt like Big Brother's always watching the kind of feeling. So I think they had to change the name of the online newsletter to something else because panopticon is just too much negative connotations.
Yeah, crazy that they decided to call a newsletter panopticon.
Yeah.
But wow, Jungle Jimbo powers, yeah.
So I thought that was a super interesting follow-up to your one-shot thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So that's your one-shot comment. My one-shot comment was a comment on YouTube, the last episode about the scammers targeting ICA's online service. It was by Nick Chrome. And it was just kind of wondering how you all get such good recommendations on your YouTube algo for One Shiok Things. Wonder too if you all can do a playlist of all the YouTube One Shiok Things. I mean, that's quite an interesting thought. But I mean, like, how would you ascribe the source of all these random videos? Like, is it your own action of like following just quirky channels, or like how you find your One Shiok Things normally?
Usually the algorithm. Yeah. If not, then sometimes someone on Reddit will be recommending certain things. Then I'll look for it there. Because actually, I think we talked about it before, where the YouTube algorithm now seems to be starting to go back to the old days of favoring like smaller creators. It means you'll start to see a lot. If you guys go to your homepage, you'll start to see a lot more creators with, hundreds of subscribers or no more than a couple thousand, propping on your newsfeed. And it wasn't like that maybe even 5-6 years ago. 5-6 years ago, it was all about the trending. Remember, there's a trending list and all that. And it was, the rage was about how to get on the trending list, right?
Yeah.
But now it seems much more like, okay, here's a chance
based on your interest.
Discoverability. So there are videos that come my way, that a lot of videos that I just get off the homepage on YouTube.
But it's based on your previous watch history.
Yeah. I think the algorithm does its thing. It sees what you generally are.
But then do you sometimes kind of force yourself to watch an interesting? Because I mean, when I'm on a YouTube homepage and I just want to veg out, there are certain videos that I know will be entertaining.
Yeah.
But do you find yourself, okay, this looks interesting, very let's take a dive in that?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm very
open-minded, very open-minded. Yeah, okay.
Very interested.
Okay.
You got to train. You got to train yourself.
Sapiosexual. So basically, what I'm getting at is that for people to find interesting shit on YouTube, you kind of need to once in a while veer off your common path,
Yeah, correct.
Right.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that YouTube is making it easier to do so. You don't even need to actively go out of your way to do it. Just scroll through your homepage. You'll be quite surprised
at what you can
see. What is recommended to you. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I actually find a lot of the stuff that end up becoming my one show thing through a few newsletters that I subscribe to.
Yeah, newsletter guy.
Newsletter guys. So sometimes they got recommending cool shit. And I'm like, oh shit, this is interesting. Like the Pterodome. I was like, the Netherlands Panopticon. I was like, oh shit, I can't remember where I found that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those were our one show comments. What about the one show thing, man?
So my one Shiok Thing is something exactly that came up on my newsfeed. It's from this channel Bobby Fingers. I don't know if you heard about it.
Yeah, maybe tell me.
It's just this guy who I think he's an artist or a singer or something who does dioramas. So he just recently did 2 weeks ago. Apparently he got a shout out on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like someone tried to tell Joe Rogan about his channel. And then he was very excited about it. So he created a Joe Rogan and the Black Keys diorama, which was the podcast in which he got that shout out. So he actually is quite interesting. He doesn't just create a diorama from scratch. He actually carves out life-sized clay sculptures of, like, say, Joe Rogan. And then after that, he gets them scanned at a 3D scanning service. Then they 3D print out the smaller figure, about the 1 to 9 scale. And then from there, he does all the little details, like, building up what Joe Rogan's podcast studio looks like, So, and it's damn funny. He has his commentary of it, and it's damn funny. And he doesn't have a lot of videos, but the recent ones, the ones that, like, he got one diorama of drunk Mel Gibson arrest.
Oh my God.
And Jeff Bezos rowing, like a giant sculpture of Jeff Bezos as well.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah. So actually, the Joe Rogan one also is quite funny how it came about. So I think it's quite worth watching.
Oh, but cool. He only has like 7 videos, but a good amount of following.
20,000 subscribers. Actually, not huge or so.
Yeah, but for 7 videos?
Yeah.
But he buries his dioramas.
Yeah, so there's this thing where he creates 2 of the dioramas. I don't know whether every video he does 2, but at least the Joe Rogan one, there were 2. Then he buries one of them. And then I think he puts clues via on his Patreon or something to allow his Patreon users to find the location of this thing. And if you dig it up and find it, it's yours to keep.
Oh my God.
So it's damn interesting how he does it. So that's why I thought I watched it was like damn funny. Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Oh, solid. Cool. My one Shiok thing is something that I chanced upon in some newsletter also. It's an article on The Verge about this robot that this company built in Japan. But unlike all those scary ass robots or humanoids that you see, right? There's this robotic companion cat called Mirumi. No, not companion cat. They previously made a companion cat robot, but this furry new bot called Mirumi, it basically is like a small koala where you can hook it onto things like your handbag.
Okay.
And when you're walking around, if someone looks at it, as it looks around, it'll catch the person's eye and just like shyly turn away.
It's a robot, is it?
It's a robot.
Oh, wow.
But it's like the antithesis of like what you would expect this dominating robot to be. It's damn cute lah.
I see.
And maybe it's because like, now having a small child, where sometimes, looks around and then you look and then you like smile and turn away.
Yeah.
This thing does the same thing.
It's not a cat lah, right?
Oh, no. The makers of this previously made a headless cat robot.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have this thing called Mirumi, which is funny lah. It's compared to like some Lapupu doll where you just hang and does nothing, right?
That's true.
This one is cute lah.
Yeah, it's cute. It's like a sloth.
Yeah, it's like a sloth.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, this is a kind of robot that I don't mind seeing around, moving around people.
Yeah.
Until it whips out a knife and stabs you or something. But until then, it's quite cute.
Still can be a bit creepy looking, I suppose.
Yeah.
Right. If it's like turning around and looking at you.
But then it looks away shyly.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what have I become, man? It's cute.
Yeah.
That is my one Shiok thing, man.
Cool,
man.
So, another episode in the bag.
Yeah. Just one more pre-Trump podcast to record lah.
Yes, one more before the inauguration.
Before the inauguration. No, actually 2 more, because by the time we record on Monday, the inauguration would not have happened yet.
That's right.
As always, if you enjoyed this podcast, please do tell someone else who may not have heard about us. Follow us on social media. Leave a rating on Spotify if you haven't.
Yep.
And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, Spotify. And what else, Terence?
Yeah. Check out ministryoffunny.com or email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com for work and collaborations.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Talk to you all soon.